So in the past 6 to 12 months, we have seen a massive exponential spike in agencies wanting to move to a SaaS model. Now, this is actually really smart because one, it helps the agency generate a lot more revenue and it's monthly recurring and it has high profit margin and it's low maintenance. Two, it also helps increase the valuation of the agency should they wish to sell, which they should later on. So overall, it's a pretty genius move. Now, we see agency owners mainly do this through platforms like HighLevel and HighLevel CRMs and things like that. It's a low ticket SaaS. Now, the thing about these platforms, these low ticket SaaS platforms, and this is probably the dirty little secret that no one's really talking about, is that it is so incredibly saturated because the barrier of entry is literally zero. Anybody can do it. So this means that because anybody can do it, it becomes a commodity and everybody is competing on price and adding more and charging less. And it is literally a race to the bottom. Now, here's the thing that is keeping these agency owners that I'm going to show you making money hand over fist while you're likely haggling over a small business owner over a $497 a month HighLevel CRM. Okay, ready for it? It is easier to generate 6 to 7 figures per month revenue by solving a very big expensive problem for a big business that only you can solve than it is trying to convince a small business owner to be able to spend a small amount of money per month on a software that anybody can access at any time. I know that hurts, but it's true. In fact, we have clients that are charging $10,000 to $20,000 a month retainers without any hesitation. And it's not because they're great at sales. It's just because nobody else can do what they can do. They can solve such a massive, expensive problem. Not many people can do it. I'm going to explain what this problem is, but first of all, I'm going to talk about the model. The model is called DaaS, Data as a Service, or DaaS. So this is how it works. Companies, especially the giant ones, don't know how to find their customer, and they spend billions and billions of dollars trying to find the right targeting data. In just this year alone, the estimated digital spend just in the US is going to be $270 billion just on digital spend. In fact, it's growing massively every single year. And in 3 years, it's going to be upwards of $400 billion in about a 3-year period spent on digital advertising just in the US. Now, what's wild about this is that spend is spent so inefficiently. In fact, about probably 60 to 70% of it is borderline wasted. Now, why is this? This is because there's hundreds and thousands of advertisers and businesses that are using the basic stock targeting options provided by platforms like Facebook, Google, TikTok, Trade Desk, etc. And the data for the targeting is just horrible and it keeps getting worse. Now, this is partly because of iOS restrictions and privacy laws. However, they're only part to blame. The main reason is that ad platforms need to make more money from every transaction. So their priority is keeping advertisers inside the ecosystem for as long as possible. That's why when you have a really good Facebook ad that's doing really well on an audience, you can't just download that data. Where the money is made from these ad platforms is how they control your data. So quick temp check here. Who do you think is easier to sell? A CEO of a company wasting $10 million per year, which you can bring in a big chunk of it back, or a small business that needs some text automations and is looking at your agency or someone at Fiverr? That's right. I'm hoping you said the CEO. My point is this is a huge problem for companies in the US. Now, the companies that solve this problem, they charge a shitload. And when I say shitload, I mean 8 to 9 figures, annual to 24-month contracts. And this is how they do it. So the companies that solve this big problem of data do this by creating something called an audience graph. This is essentially a massive database of online track behavior, financial info, household data, and it is continually updated real time. So what happens is instead of these companies paying Facebook to find people that are looking for supplements, they can actually just pull it from their own database and contact the people however they want. That's how they win the game. Now, the companies that currently do this are the Trade Desk, worth about $30 billion, LiveRamp, worth about $1.6 billion, LiveIntent, worth about $200 million. There's dozens of other companies. However, the one I want to talk to you today is ours, Audience Lab. Only we are not charging nearly as much as other providers. Instead, we license our entire solution to agency owners and advertisers so they can be the ones to solve this problem for their clients. Now, why on earth would we do that? Well, a lot of the major data providers just aren't actually close enough to the client that they're not able to see a feedback loop. The feedback loop is either non-existent or it's so big because the company's spending most of their budget on brand that they can't really see if the data is effective or not. By working directly with advertisers, we're able to see exactly how our data is performing, really down to the most granular level. And that is our advantage. Now, as a result, these agencies go from dealing with small, tiny businesses that are haggling over a few $100s per month to charging nearly 6 to 7 figures by providing a solution that executives just cannot ignore, and that is giving them the proper data. Now, before I show exactly how this works and go through some examples, I do have a question for you. Would you like to become one of these agencies that has access to solve these problems? If the answer is yes, you're still with me. So let's jump away from, the VSL format and let's actually start sharing screens and go through the proof. All right, so I am in Audience Lab, which is our software that allows advertisers to access billions of behaviors online, match them up, and use them however they want. So pretty much you can target anyone at any time and use them on any platform. All right, so I'm inside here, and the first tool I'm going to show you is our in-market audiences. So I'm going to head over to here, and I'm going to go to my pre-made section. So let's imagine you're dealing with a real estate agent, and they're needing you to create ads for them, and they want to make sure they're looking for people that are actively looking to buy a house or sell their home. And they also want to make sure that people have a certain credit score or certain financials. So this is how easy it is. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to pull in from these categories. So essentially what we have is these are our in markets. These are pre-built audiences that are updated every 24 hours, right? This looks at offline data, online data, and it updates every 24 hours. So you have the latest that, it's the most hyper targeted audience you can get, right? So I'm going to type in here, I'm going to look in real estate. And we're going to go here and actually look for people that are looking for real estate agents and brokers. Okay, so this is people that are looking for real estate agents. So I'm going to go through and I'm also going to segment this by financial, and I'm going to make sure that this person has a net worth. Okay, so I've added anybody that has a net worth greater than 100,000, greater than 250,000, or greater than 499,000. So just making sure that anybody has at least 100,000 net worth. Okay. So I'm going to keep that as is. I can specify by financial, by auto data, location, age and gender, and update. And I'm going to generate this audience. So let's wait for this to populate, and I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, so it just populated. So let's download and see what kind of data we have. So I'm going to click on here, I'm going to download it, and let's pull it up and see the kind of audience that we have. All right, so I got this up, and the amount of data you get here is insane. First of all, you have all of their first name, last name data. You've got this one here. Now, this is really cool. This is actually showing you when that email was last active. So this is the email tied to that person, but this is actually showing you how active that email is. So basically saying when that email was last used by that consumer. Then you have the email status of whether it's been validated or not. So you don't have to keep running it through third-party platforms. You've got their SHA-256. This is what you use to target them across Facebook or any other platform. You've got their phone number, all this data here. But then you've also got B2B data. So you can see where they work at, their company info, their LinkedIn, and so forth. So in other words, you have every single data point about that consumer that you can use to target them wherever you want. Now, the second tool is even cooler. Okay, let's say for an example that you're dealing with a client that only wants to go for very specific keywords. All right, so the next tool is our keyword builder. Now, what this allows you to do is essentially access over 30 billion keywords that we match up to our database every single day. And that is 30 billion with a B. So I can go in here and I can type in any keyword. So I'm going to type in real estate, and it's going to find all the keywords out of that 30 billion. So it's going to process those and it's find them. And I'm going to download these and show you the keywords that it's found. And I'll show you exactly what this means. Okay, so it's gone in and it's pulled from the 30 billion plus keywords, and it's found the most related keywords to real estate. And I can see here I've got the keyword and then I've got the count. So what this means is this is how many devices are tied to that keyword. Because what happens is we're getting the keyword and then we're tying it to a device, and then we're tying it to the actual consumer. So what I can do is I can get as many keywords as I like. So I'm going to grab all these and I'm going to go back into the platform. I'm going to go into the audience builder and I'm going to go to where it's this add audience and I'm going to click on keyword. And now what I can do is I can type these in directly just like that and boom, these are the keywords that can actually type into the planner, right? From the planner. Now what I can do is I'm going to keep this as is, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to click generate audience and let's wait a little bit for it to process. So it's processing quite quick. So this is actually matching up the keywords to the devices that have searched for them within the past 24 hours, or I can expand it out to 7 days. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. We're just waiting at the final percentage. It is done. It took about 10 minutes to build this. So I'm going to click download and let me show you this audience. All right, here we go. So this is my list. I've got all the same details, but this is hyper targeted. Like this is at the keyword level. I can see validation status, when that email was last validated in terms of their signals. This list is about, let me see if I go down, it's about 50,000 plus rows of data. And I can upload this to any platform. I can use it across any device. I can email these people. I can do whatever I need to do to reach these people. Now, the big question that everybody probably has is how do these audience work? We actually did a test and we tested our lookalikes against Facebook's lookalikes and we're able to beat them on average about 40%. You can see here, just by using the audience, we're able to increase the conversion rate from 8 to 13%, right? And this was competing against Facebook's best lookalike. This is how Bobby was able to reduce his cost per opt-in for a VSL, which he had been hitting the same market for about 3 years. He was able to get it down by about 50% in 24 hours of using these audiences. Then you got guys like Peter, who was able to use this, created better lookalikes for his client, and he was able to generate $10,000 over the weekend and drop the CPA by 40%. All right, tool number 3. So this is our identity resolution pixel. So essentially what it is it's a pixel that we generate for you, and you can do it yourself inside the platform, and you can put it on a website. And what it will do is it will take the anonymous traffic. So anybody that hits the pixel, it doesn't matter if they opt in or whatever, as long as they're in the US, it will take around 30 to 60% of those people and it will match up exactly who they are, right? So you can see here, essentially, we've got all of our downloads for our pixels. Now we've got email, name, number just in here, but if you want to download the file, you can pull their income, you can pull the date that the email was last checked, you can pull the B2B data, you can pull everything, right? So this, essentially, you can just put this pixel on someone's website, and what it's going to do is it's going to match up those leads for you to follow up with later. Here's an example of a client that we recently worked with that did this. This company was actually using a similar competitor. However, we matched over 60% of their emails. That's 20% more than the competition, and got them 169 new customers from a very, very simple 3 email sequence. So the average order value was around $280. Just by putting this pixel on their website, we matched up the traffic and then sent email campaigns to the traffic, people that didn't even opt in, and we were able to generate them 169 additional customers. Another example is what we're doing essentially is we're matching up the pixel and then we're sending that data to Facebook audiences. So Facebook actually only collects about 15% of the data from your pixel than you think. What we're able to do is not only are we able to get more data for cold audiences, but using our pixel, we're able to make their retargeting audiences and the whole ad account smarter. So we did this for My Pet Peed. You can see here we matched 1,000 leads within 24 hours, and we use that to create better audiences. You can see there's the before and there's the after. Another company, which is an automotive dealership we work with, did 1,608 leads within 3 days of using the pixel. So able to get credit score, auto miles, make of car, and in-market affinity. Nico was able to use this to be able to generate his clients 24 extra appointments just by using the pixel. So simply put the pixel on, send some emails, it was able to generate 24 extra appointments. So that is just 3 tools that you can use to exponentially increase a client's revenue. Not just increase, but you can actually change their entire game. And what's really cool is agencies that are doing this actually use it as a way to get in with massive companies and then upsell their other services. So essentially there are 2 options here. One is you can go with the low ticket SaaS option and you can use different white label services that are, $497 per month. and you can compete against everybody else. And you just have to charge less and really up as much volume as you can. That's option one. Option number two is we can license this whole product suite to you so that you can do something that only about 1% of advertisers and marketers are able to achieve. That's pretty no-brainer. You're probably wanting to go with option two, right? However, you probably have the question, how am I going to do this? Even if I have all the tools and resources, how do I go after these clients? How do I get these clients? So this is how we're going to do it. So first of all, we're going to actually use our tool set to find the clients. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to help you use our B2B to C, which is something I didn't actually show you, which is how we get B2B data, similar to like Apollo and Clearbit and things like that. And we're going to identify high revenue businesses that are losing a lot of money on ads, and then we're going to give you their contact details. So this is going to average around 50,000 or so list that we're going to give to you. Secondly, we're going to provide you with the exact outreach system that we and hundreds of other agencies are using to be able to get responses from these clients. Three, we're actually going to help you close the sale by working with our sales director, who's responsible for close to $100 million in cash collected, right? And this includes the authority materials, the forecast materials, how we actually sell inside our brand. And we're going to help you with these calls. We're going to audit them, and we're going to license everything to you so that you can close it. And finally, number three, we're going to train you and your entire team to use these solutions so that any client, you're able to immediately identify the exact audience they want, build that audience, download that audience, and then refresh that audience for them on a continuous basis. So basically, we're going to do absolutely everything from A to Z to walk with you to build a data as a service business model inside your agency. Now, this is something that really you will not find anywhere else because not many other companies can do it. It's expensive to build this kind of thing. So if you want to do this, all you have to do is click the button below and book a call. Now on this call, all we're going to do is we're going to look at and run just a small forecast with some numbers and see whether this would actually make sense for you compared to how much it is, compared to how much you could make, compared to how much you've done in the past, and so forth. Now, we have creative financing, we have things like that, but the biggest things we want to make sure before you book a call is one, you are an agency owner or you're wanting to start an agency. And two, you are prepared to spend at least 6 months learning how to use our technology, right? Because there is a learning curve. It's a completely different way of advertising. So in saying that, all you have to do is click the button below, book a call, speak to myself or somebody from the team, and we'll see if this is a good fit for you.